Hi, how you doing? I'm Tommy Gavrel. I'm here today to give you a little book review, and I know it's not that cool nowadays, but the reason is because this particular book is based in the sales region, and there's no good sales books out there today, at least not positive ones. There's a lot of negative books, a lot of books that tell you, 41 ways to cheat your way into sales, but that's not what we're going for. That's not what sales should be about. This book is called "To Sell is Human: The Surprising Truth About Moving Others." And as surprising as this may be to be about a sales book, that's exactly what this book's about. It's about moving others. It's about tapping into people's emotions more so than just going and flipping product on them. To start off, the book, it's really about how everybody sells. Okay, everybody sells. It's a fundamental thing that humans do. We really do. We are constantly competing for the best in whatever we're doing. And maybe not even the best, but we're trying to convince others that what we're saying is the truth, or that what we're saying is right over what other people are saying. Competition's everywhere. Sales jobs in particular, though, seem to get some kind of negative connotation. And it's always been that way since, as long as I can remember. And I don't like going to talk to salespeople, but I think that's because, the old salespeople of the day, they used to go in and barge in and throw products at people, and people didn't know they didn't need those products. But nowadays, people only buy what they want, and they research what they need, and that's how it goes. So the market, and what Mr. Pink really gets into is that the market changes, and it has changed. And the market now in sales is more of a market that's friendly to the buyer rather than friendly to the seller. The seller doesn't really have any power anymore, which is what he explains, and he gets into depth, and I'll get there about the power, but he really just explains that it's shifted from a more of what he calls a buyer beware market to a seller beware market. And the seller's got to be able to convince the buyer now that he's the right salesperson, rather than convincing the buyer that they need all of the products that they're going to sell and just making money off of them. And it's actually improved sales a lot, and it's helped the connotation of how people think about the word in general. Beyond the shift in the market, he really gets in detail about how to handle sales emotionally and, relationships. He talks about the ABCs of sales, which, traditionally has always been always be closing. But he changes them, and he adds 3 words. He makes it an acronym instead. And what it is it's attunement, buoyancy, and clarity. And attunement is pretty much just building relationships and being able to really connect with people. And buoyancy is the metaphor he uses is that sales is an ocean of rejection, and it's how to stay afloat on the rigorous ocean, because it's horrible. You get said no to all the time. And clarity is really, he explains, and I'm not going to spoil the book and go into all of these details, but he really does get into how to focus on what your problem really might be, rather than wasting time on something that's probably not even that big of an issue. And that's a big deal in business. The last 2 sections or 3 sections are on pitch. They're on being able to be adaptable, and they're on service. And as for pitch, he just makes the point that it should be intriguing enough to be talked about later. Not necessarily intriguing enough to get the buy right then. You're not going to sell everything on your first pitch. But he explains that it's going to be okay. As long as they talk about you later, that's what you really want in a pitch. You have to be able to improvise, like I said, to adapt. It's about improvisation. You got to be able to go with it. He uses an actor as an example, but I think it's harder than being an actor, because an actor usually has a script. Salespeople don't get scripts. You have to really listen, and he talks about listening without having an expectation, which I won't get into, but you need to not think that you're going to go in hearing something and then not going to hear it. And as for serve, basically what he's saying is reminding that service is to serve the customer. You're not supposed to be trying to be out for yourself. And to keep that in mind when you're handling people. But all in all, I really would recommend this book, and it's a great read even if you're not a salesperson, but go get it and add this to your business. It's really going to help.